Good evening, and you're very welcome to Around the Grounds here at Finalwhistle.ie, a lovely Saturday evening of football from the Women's National League to bring you this evening. We'll start with action from at the Athlone Town Stadium, where Athlone took on the defending champions Shelbourne this evening. Shelbourne, of course, looking to kick back a start at trying to retain their championship, taking on Athlone, who are currently sat in mid-table. Bringing us the action from Athlone Town is Sean Comer.
Diarmuid, I thought for the first 20 or so, neither side really took a hold of this game, but I think Shelbourne started to show their quality after that. They fired a warning shot in the 25th minute when Megan Smith-Lynch sent it across to Jessica Stapleton at the back post, who had a wide open header, but she sent it over. It was a warning Athlone didn't really heed, because about 4 minutes later, Jessica Zhu was played through, and I thought she gave Athlone a lot of problems all night. She was played right through, and she squared the ball to Noel Murray, who had a tap in. That gave Shells the lead. And to be honest, they could have added a second a few minutes later when Stapleton played through Zhu again. And Niamh Coombs came out and looked to have squashed the chance, looked to have come down and claimed it, but she spilled it. And Zhu got the second ball and she squared it to Smith-Lynch, who just fluffed her lines really. And Athlone came away without conceding a second. And then Megan Smith-Lynch had a good chance at the back post, but again, Coombs came out and quashed it. And that was all really for the first half. And then the second half started off, kind of like the first half started slow, first 15 or so minutes. But then in the 62nd minute, Shelbourne had their first chance at the half. Sorry, not Shelbourne. Athlone had a decent chance, I thought. Dana Sheriff ran through on goal and she had to hold up her play. And she fed it back to Myrna Devaney, who tried a long-range effort. And it forced Amanda Budden to get down there and save it at her right post. And that was probably the closest chance Athlone had. It was a long-range effort, but like I said, closest chance I had to going in all day. 10 minutes later, more good work by Jessica Zhu on the right-hand side. She put in a cross. Megan Smith-Lynch at the back post had an acrobatic effort, and it was straight at Coombs, who saved it, but she kind of spilled it, but she managed to get up and claim the second ball. In the 79th minute, Jessica Stapleton had another good chance. She sent it over. I think it was a cross from the right-hand side, and to be honest, it was one of those she should have put in. And then in the 83rd minute, this was all over. Kiva Keenan, who had come on for Megan Smith-Lynch, it was some great play by Shelbourne. They just squared it across the box. It came to Kiva Keenan. She just smashed it straight at goal, went in, and that proved to be enough. So it's 2 wins from 2 for Shelbourne and another clean sheet, so they'll be very happy heading home tonight.
Thank you, Sean, from that report from Athlone this evening for that game. We'll look ahead now and we'll move on to the game between Bohemians and Wexford Youths, a game that which Bohemians haven't had the best of starts to the season so far, but their counterparts Wexford picked up a win on their opening day. With all the action from Dalymount Park this afternoon was Alana Canan.
Wexford's attacking cohort were on fire here today in Dalymount, earning them a comprehensive 3-0 win over Bohemians in the Women's National League. A classic Ellen Molloy screamer opened proceedings with a Ciara Rossiter strike directly from a corner and a poacher's goal from captain Kylie Murphy wrapping things up, as I said, at the 3-0. It's Wexford's second win so far this year, and they also have a game in hand, while for both, tonight's loss means they've amassed just 1 point from the opening fixtures. Molloy proved once again that even from distance he can't afford to give her space. The 17-year-old smashing a bullet from distance, as I said, to notch the first tally on the score sheet within just the 6 minutes. The Gypsies excelled through set pieces from there on out, pushing most of their play through Abby Brophy, and ex-Wexford player Ciara Bates-Crosby were struggling to pull off that final ball. They also had to break quickly, often on the counter-attack too, as for the majority of the time most of their team were back in defence. But it just didn't come off for them, as I said, and nearing the hour mark, Rossiter added the second, kicking a corner kick directly into the inside of the net, marking the second such bizarre occurrence in as many weeks in the Women's National League, given Stephanie Roach done the same thing last week for Peamount against Galway. The scoreline remained 2-0 at half-time, leaving it all to do for Bohs in the second half, but Wexford continued their forward-thinking prowess and got their third then just around 10 minutes after half-time, when Murphy was located by Rossiter for a tap-in at the back post. Both came back into things around the 70th minute mark with chances for Erica Burke, Chloe Darby and Sinead Taylor, although none were particularly hazardous for Maeve Williams to deal with. So final score here in Dalymount, 3-0 to the Youths. Next up for Stephen Quinn's outfit is Streaty United, while for the Gypsies it's a trip for Sligo to the Showgrounds for Sligo Rovers.
And a big thanks to Alana for bringing us the report from Dalymount Park. Now, two teams who have struggled to find their form so far the early couple of weeks in the season, should I say, are Sligo and Cork City. They met this afternoon in one of the early kickoffs at Turner's Cross. Sligo, of course, with two defeats coming into the game, with Cork picking up a home defeat last time out against Galway. With all of the action from Turner's Cross is our reporter, Sam Curtin.
It was a historic day for Sligo Rovers Football Club as their women's team picked up their first ever 3 points in the Women's National League. They showed a real clinical edge to pick up a 2-1 victory here this evening at Turner's Cross over Cork City. The first half started off in entertaining fashion with City gaining the early ascendancy, and indeed a goal-mouth scramble after just 4 minutes should have had the hosts ahead, but somehow the goal, it went unscathed from the ball. Somehow it's staying out of the Sligo net. It really should have been 1-0 to City there. Kirsten Sample was fantastic in goals for the visitors, playing against her former club as well, of course. And she made a couple of terrific saves. First of all from Shauna McCarthy, and then from Aoife Cronin just moments later in the 35th minute to keep the visitors level going into the half-time break. City started the better though in the second half. Becky Casson in particular went close on 49 minutes, while Zara Foley was instrumental as well and hit a spectacular volley off the bar just minutes later. But it was Sligo who got the breakthrough on 62 minutes when Gemma McGuinness hit a long range effort. First of all, it hit off the post, and then it came off the Cork City goalkeeper, Abby McCarthy, before crawling into the back of the net, completely against the run of play to give Sligo a 1-0 lead. It got even better for them then just moments later as Emma Doherty sped past the City defence to coolly slotted past McCarthy to put Sligo 2-0 ahead within seconds. A real sucker punch for Cork, but they did get back into it just a couple of minutes later, to be fair. This time a substitute, Nadine Seward, basically took advantage of some poor Sligo defending, and on 72 minutes she was able to take advantage of that and put City right back into the game. But try as they might, the last 10 minutes they really camped on the Sligo goal line, but they just could not find that crucial equaliser, and Sligo were able to see out an historic 2-win victory here at Turner's Cross. An historic night for the club. Paul Farrell's side will probably be regretting not being clinical enough in front of goal, but for them it's back to the drawing board, I suppose, ahead of their next game next week as they go away from home. But a historic night for Sligo Rovers. 2-1 here, it finished at Turner's Cross.
Thank you to Sam from that report from Turner's Cross. Now, Peamount United were also in action today back at PRL Park, where they welcomed Treaty United. Peamount, of course, unbeaten so far this season, looking to continue that record and try and reclaim the title that they lost on the last day last year. Our reporter, Paul Regan, was there to bring us all the action.
The home side started strongly and opened up an early lead through Anya Gorman in the 11th minute. She followed that up 2 minutes later by great play on the left wing to set up her teammate Stephanie Roach to make it 2-0. Jetta Burrell, who was playing on the wing, finished very well at the back post just 5 minutes later to give Peamount a 3-0 lead, and they were full deserving of their victory as they were in complete control in the first half. Peamount, just before half-time, scored through Sive Doyle to make it 4-0 after a really good team play through the pitch. Burrell on the left wing capped off a fine performance with a very good strike in the second half. Despite the early dominance, Treaty really came into the game in the second half, and really good work from Gibson on the left wing from Treaty set up her teammate Emma Costello, who pulled off a magnificent long-range strike which really was the goal of the game. Treaty battled hard and in the second half more than matched their illustrious opponents here. And going forward, they will have a lot of confidence into the season.
Perfect. A big thank you to Paul for that report. Apologies for any sound issues that you might have picked up during the recording of the report there that Paul had sent in to us. Now, final action today came from Eamon DC Park, where Galway welcomed DLR Waves. DLR Waves, another team who have been unbeaten so far this year and have been looking to mount a title charge. They took on Galway this afternoon, and with a report for us is John Nee.
Good evening. Yes, it finished 1-1 between DLR Waves and Galway United in Eamon DC Park this evening. DLR had the better start to the game. The first 10-15 minutes, they were well on top. Kerry Lippman's cross nearly went in after 10 minutes from the left-hand side. It bounced just in front of the Galway keeper, Abigail Ryan, and she tapped it out just for a corner after 10 minutes. Rachel Doyle had a shot after 22 minutes from long range, just going wide of the post. But it was in the 36th minute, Sarah McKevitt, a ball found her in behind the Galway defence. No one seemed to pick her up, so she found herself one-on-one in the Galway box and slotted it home. This was also a bad time for Galway because it looked like Savannah McCarthy collided with her own goalkeeper during this time, and she went off injured at this point. She had the medical staff went into her. There was a stretcher. She was replaced at this stage, and that was a big blow for Galway, like losing their captain just before half time. There was 5 minutes of added time in the half, and this is when Galway actually found their equaliser. It was great play by Julianne Russell, who had an unbelievable game, I must say, up for the whole game. She found Lindsay McKee on the wing, and Lindsay McKee did a perfect cross to the back post to find Aoife Thompson, who was there to just nod it home from 2 yards, and that put the sides in level at half time, 1-1. Just literally kick out went half time. The second half was very both sides were struggling to get a grips with each other. They were there was play back and forth, not really much in terms of chances. Galway very, very late on had 2 or 3 very good chances. There was a ball cleared off the line in the 85th minute, and Aoife Brophy, a brilliant block, just put her body on the line 92 minutes in to deny Galway a clear-cut goal. So both sides could be happy with the draw. Galway felt like they should have maybe nicked it late on, but 1-1, probably a fair result.
A big thank you to John from that report from Eamon DC Park. Now we'll just give you a quick run through all of the results from today's action in the Women's National League. Of course, you would have heard the reports there from all our reporters, but just in case you've missed a couple of the results. Cork City suffered a 2-1 home defeat to Sligo. Big win for Sligo, their first win in the competition as a whole. As you mentioned there, Galway, of course, and the Waves with a scored draw 1-1. It finished in Eamon DC Park. Bohemians suffering another defeat. Wexford Youths coming out there, with a 3-0 win. A hard result so far for both. They haven't had any luck so far in the competition. Athlone Town suffering a 2-0 home defeat to Shelburne. Shelburne looking for a statement of intent in that game. And of course, Peamount United picking up a 5-1 win as well over Treaty today as well. Another big result for them in their challenge for the title. Now we'll give you a quick run through the league table as well after today's results, just to give you a quick update. Available on the Final Whistle website. You'll be able to see everything. Peamount United, of course, 3 wins from 3, sitting on top of the table on 9 points. They've been looking comfortable so far. Of course, Shelburne have only played 2 games. They haven't had the luxury of playing their 3rd game due to postponement. They're currently on 6 points, unbeaten as well. The draw at Eamon DC Park has hindered Waves a small bit. For they've dropped 3 points. They've only gained 1 today. They sit in second on 7 points. Where another win for Wexford sees them unbeaten as well, also on 6 points, while Treaty and Cork bring up the bottom half of the table with no points so far after 2 games apiece. Now, we do have more action for you next week with some more fixtures. You'll see those scrolling on the bottom of your screen in a couple of seconds. All these games taking place on Saturday, 26th of March. Sligo take on Bohemians. Shelburne face Cork City. Waves and Peamount United meet in a big mouth-watering tie there in the league. Wexford Youth host Treaty United and Athlone face Galway. And of course, we'll be back next Saturday for those games for another Around the Grounds. And we'll also be back to you this coming Friday as well from an Around the Grounds with all for the first division action in the Men's Electricity League as well. My thanks to all the reporters for sending in their reports from today. Of course, all their reports will be available on the Final Whistle website, along as you can see the table graphic as well, along with all the statistics from the games as well. My thanks to Colleen Duffy as well for being on as our producer for this evening. Thanks to everyone for watching. You'll be able to watch this back as well on our YouTube and social media channels. But until next time, goodbye.